Hey guys, welcome to my Super Nintendo collection update, and this update is going to be for Christmas 2010. And basically I'm now at a situation where I've got 41 boxed American games for my Super Nintendo, and I thought I'd do a nice update video and show you all what I've got so far, because they're always in the background, so I thought it'd be nice for anyone who has an interest in my Super Nintendo collection to take a look. And you know, in the future I'll do further update videos as well once my collection's grown a bit more, and just to keep you in the loop really, so you know what I've got. So first up is Disney's Aladdin by Capcom. Really nice platform game, beautiful to look at, fantastic music, really nice animations. For me personally, I still believe that the Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive version is a far superior game by Virgin, just because it's closer to what the cartoon was about, the film. I think it's more in line with the animated movie than it is on the Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo one, for me, Capcom just sort of missed the point, and they just thought, we'll make a game that's superior graphically and has amazing audio, but it just didn't. I don't know, it just doesn't have that feel that it should have, like the Genesis version. But really good games nonetheless, and I would never say not buy it. You should definitely buy this. Next up, another platform game, Aero the Acrobat. I've only played it briefly, so I can't really give a full view on this one, but it seems okay from what I've seen so far. Next up we have The Art of Fighting, which is a conversion from the Neo Geo game of the same name, obviously. Neo Geo game is renowned for its fantastic camera panning, where it zooms in and out, and it just looks absolutely spectacular. And you know, to downgrade the game to the Super Nintendo is quite an ambitious task really when you think about it at the time. But I've got to say, they did a really nice conversion. I'm really impressed with it. It does look amazing. You know, it's never going to be as good as the Neo Geo, but a really nice conversion. Next is an all-time classic SNES game, Axlay. It's a shoot 'em up with some of the best music you'll ever hear. It's just absolutely superb, beautiful looking game as well. Hard as nails to play. I mean, I'm not a very big shmup fan, so when I was younger I used to play a lot of shmups, but nowadays I don't really play them unless I go back and play retro games, and so I'm seriously out of practice and I suck. But it is a great game. Next up is a game that's more my kind of genre. That is Batman Returns from Konami. Scrolling beat 'em up game in the vein of Final Fight and Streets of Rage, and it's just absolutely brilliant. Definitely up there in the top 5 Batman games that any system ever made. There's not a lot of Batman games that are worthwhile, but that one is excellent. Some fantastic animations, beautiful graphics, stunning music, absolutely well recommended. Next up is a sequel to a game called Rival Turf, and it is Brawl Brothers by Jalico. A lot of people don't like the Rival Turf series. Me personally, I do. I think there's just something about them that I really enjoy playing. If you're into scrolling beat 'em ups like I am, you'll probably know that a lot of people think that the Rival Turf series are pretty shit, and they're very low on the scale of quality. You know, compared to games such as Batman Returns, Final Fight, Streets of Rage, these games don't register. I personally think Brawl Brothers is the best of the 3 games. And just out of interest, in the West they're called Rival Turf, Brawl Brothers and The Peacekeepers. In Japan they're known as Rushing Beat Run, and I'm never too sure of the exact title of the third one. It's Rushing Beat either Sakura or Sakura. I'm not too sure. I know Sino referenced, I think he picked it up a while ago, so he'll be able to clarify what that is. I did have the Japanese one years ago and I collected for Super Famicom, and they were excellent. Now, this one is renowned for the fact that for some reason, the Western release, they made it so a couple of levels in, when you're in the sewers, you have to go through every single door in order to find the way out of the sewer. Whereas the Japanese release, I could get out of the sewer quite quickly and enjoy the game. This American version, I've not managed to get out of the sewer yet. I've tried pretty much every door and I just can't find the way out, and it's really frustrating. It's a shame because it is the best of the 3 games. It's the best graphically, and it has the best choice of characters, and it's just a really fun game. Next up you have from Interplay, Clay Fighter. It's a Street Fighter game with claymation characters. That's all you need to know. It's just really fun and tongue in cheek. It's a great game. Next up we have Cool World. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. We have Cool World from Ocean. Now this is based on a movie of the same name, which I've never seen. I don't know, I tried playing the game, it was very bad. But I bought it brand new and sealed for like $3. So, you know, you can't really complain about that. It was worth having just for the collection at $3 brand new. Next up we've got Desert Strike. You know, one of the many Strike games. There's Desert Strike, Urban Strike, Jungle Strike, there's a few of them. So there, we turn to the Gulf. This is based around the 1991 war in the Gulf in Kuwait. And I've not played it yet since I've owned it, because I've only had it about a week or so, and I've not had time to play it. But from what I can remember, it's a really fun game, and it's basically flying a helicopter and blowing stuff up, and that's always good. Next up is a Nintendo classic, Donkey Kong Country. I still need to get 2 and 3, but I'm still playing for this original one first, so I want to finish this one. It's just an absolutely stunning title. To be on a Super Nintendo and to have managed this, because I believe that I'm not, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was originally aimed for the N64. It was going to be a launch title or something, and then for some reason it got put on the Super Nintendo at the last minute, and it just absolutely amazes me that they managed to get so much power at the Super Nintendo. Even today, I think the lighting effects and the pseudo 3D effects look really, really impressive, and it is an absolutely excellent game. Next up, one of my all-time favourite games on any system, any arcade, anything, Final Fight. I absolutely love this game. You know, the Super Nintendo version is renowned for being bad because they cut most of the game, they took character out of the game, they took level out of the game, they took quite a lot out of the game. It really is a shame, and then they made Final Fight Guide to try and correct that, and they didn't correct it at all. They just put the same game out but changed the characters around and got rid of Cody and put Guy in his place, which made no sense. But, you know, Final Fight, even though it has its issues on the Super Nintendo, still plays brilliantly, and it's still a really solid Capcom beat 'em up. You know, if you want the true arcade experience, you will need to buy the Sega CD or Sega Mega CD. That is the best version by far, but still a great game to have on the Super Nintendo, and I love Final Fight. Then we have its sequel, Final Fight 2, which was especially made for the Super Nintendo, and they basically decided that they were going to change it completely and just keep Hagar. So you've got Mike Hagar, no Cody, no Guy, and 2 new characters which I'm not 100% but I'm pretty certain. The girl was called Maki, and there's another guy called Dean, I think it was called, who's got a big sword. I don't know what it is about the game, it looks brilliant. I mean, it's got some of the best graphics, it looks beautiful. It's definitely a step up from the original, and the music's great, but even though they tried to do a few different things in the layout of the scrolling beat 'em up genre, I just found it kind of boring. I just can't get to grips with it. I've got like halfway through, and then I've never been bothered to carry on and finish the game, and I could complete it quite easily. I just can't be bothered. It just doesn't hold my interest, and it's a real shame. One day I will sit down and complete it, but yeah, it was a bit of a missed opportunity for me personally, and I don't have it yet because it's too expensive, but I will have it eventually. Final Fight 3 was by far the best Super Nintendo Final Fight game. Graphically, it's stunning, the music is beautiful, the characters are excellent, the animations are excellent, the fighting's great. I mean, scrolling beat 'em ups, they shouldn't be hard to get right, but some of them, you know, Final Fight 2 being one of them, they just don't have that something that makes a scrolling beat 'em up good. I don't know, maybe other people disagree and they enjoy it, but me personally, I don't get anything out of it. Killer Instincts, with the Killer Cut CD, which is still in the box, all sealed up because I've not opened it. I did buy this sealed, unfortunately, during transit when I moved house, it did get a bit bashed up, so it's a bit dented around the edges, which is a bit of a shame. It's a classic, you know, one-on-one fighting game, Street Fighter style. Bit more, you can get away with a bit more button bashing on this one. Although it does have a combo system for people who are really good at it, which I'm not. But I just like to button bash and hope for the best, and it's a great game. Next up we got a game I just recently picked up brand new and sealed, and that is Mickey Mania, The Timeless Adventures of Mickey Mouse. And I've had a go on it and it's really good. Beautiful graphics, beautiful music, and the game's just really fun platformer. I'm really quite impressed actually with this game. It's just an absolute stunning game, and some really nice little bits of speech as well for Mickey, which is really cool. Slightly challenging as well, you know, it gives you a bit of a challenge, which I quite like. It's not an easy walkthrough game, but then that could just be me and the fact that I'm not used to playing these kind of games anymore. You know, unfortunately modern games, they tend to be a little bit too easy sometimes, and they can, you know, when you go back to playing old games, you're like, bloody hell, I don't remember them being like this. Next up, the classic competition edition of Mortal Kombat. You know, digitised graphics, fatalities, some of those iconic characters in video gaming. Absolutely brilliant game. And we have Final Fight, sorry about that. We have Mortal Kombat 2. Basically more of the same, better graphics, some new cool characters, but bloody hard. I am really bad at Mortal Kombat. I've always been better at Street Fighter. I don't know what it is with Mortal Kombat, I just get my ass kicked a lot. Pilotwings. Basically, I don't even know how to explain what kind of game Pilotwings is. It's hard to explain really. I mean, you sort of like, you do parachuting levels, hang gliding levels, and you have to land within like a coloured ring to get to get points. Yeah, I don't know what you call. I don't even know what kind of genre that's under, but it's just one of those Super Nintendo games that sticks in your memory as being one from when I was a kid, as, you know, a must-have game. And we have Rival Turf, which is the first game before Brawl Brothers. Now, I mean, it's got possibly the worst box art you've ever seen. It's absolutely terrible. It's so 90s. Now, a lot of people absolutely hate this game to death. I for some reason, there's just something about it that when I played it, it's so bad that it's just so good. It just kind of like, I really enjoy it, and I got a lot of fun out of playing it. So yeah, I mean, I'd just say try it if you haven't. And you know, you probably will hate it, but you might be like me and you might really enjoy it as well. True classic, Star Fox, super effects, amazing graphics, just phenomenal for the time. Some of the best game music I've ever heard in my life. It's just amazing. Brilliant characters, you know, really solid shooter, absolutely brilliant game, and well worth having in the collection. Okay, next, the all-time classic, Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior. I mean, you don't really need to say much about it, everybody knows what Street Fighter 2 is. It's just an absolute phenomenon. At the time when it came out, the fact that they managed to get it so close to the arcade on that system is just absolutely amazing. I love this game to this day, and for me personally, there's no other system than the Super Nintendo that can do this justice on a 2D plane. It's just brilliant. Then we have my favourite Street Fighter game, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I love this, upgraded speed, new characters to play. I mean, you know, they're only the bosses, but you could, you know, they weren't playable in the original game. New costumes for your characters, and just Street Fighter in general is just so damn good. It's so well designed. I mean, you can see the amount of thought that went into it. The stages, you know, the level design is just amazing. The characters is just, every single character has been well thought out and is iconic. And I'd say anyone, not my age group anyway, at least, could name every single character. And I'm sure a lot of people a lot younger than me can do that as well, because they are that iconic. And the level music, wow. Stunning. Next up, for me personally, the worst of the Street Fighters, Super Street Fighter 2. Now, graphically, it's a massive upgrade, and you know, the games get better graphically each game, but the audio is the thing that ruined this for me, because the graphics look amazing, the gameplay is just as well as any other Street Fighter, but the audio is so diabolical. The music is terrible and tinny, it has no bass. There's no bass in the sound effects, which winds me up so much, because the original and the Turbo, when you use the hard kick, you get a real nice satisfying crunch sound effect, and it was brilliant. With this, it just sounds like a really crappy slap. It's awful. They ruined this game, and it's a shame, because it could have been yet another amazing Street Fighter. Had I bought this for like 60 quid as a kid, I'd have been gutted. Next up we have Capcom's Super Ghouls and Ghosts. An all-time classic platformer. I'm absolutely useless at it, but I like to have a good blast when I can and see if I can get past level 1, which I've not managed yet. There's just so much going on, so many characters coming at you, and I just can't dodge them fast enough, but it's just brilliant. The music, I mean, that's the thing with the Super Nintendo, the music on the Super Nintendo, all the games sound amazing. These next three, I'm very chuffed to have these in the collection. Super Mario All-Stars, collection of Mario games, Mario 1, 2 and 3, and the Lost Levels. Just brilliant. They upgraded all the games with 16-bit graphics and music. and they are just absolute classics. I mean, if you like 2D platforming games, this is where it's at. You know, Mario is king of 2D platformers. He always will be. Super Mario Kart, by far my favourite version of Super Mario Kart. There isn't a single version that's come close on a home console. The only version for me that's come close was the Game Boy Advance version, which was just spectacular. But I just love everything about Super Nintendo. I love the Mode 7, the whole look of the game, the music, the characters. I love Player 2. You know, when you play a 2-player game and you put the battle mode on with the balloons on your car. I mean, that alone can just waste hours and hours. It's just stunning, and it's really held up well over time. Next is the pride and joy of my collection, the jewel in the crown, Super Mario World. It's taken me, I think, maybe 3-4 years to find this copy. It's been so hard trying to find a box black label copy of Super Mario World in good enough condition for my collection. I mean, just trying to find a box black label copy is difficult on eBay, but trying to get one in this condition is just damn near impossible, and they get really expensive if they do turn up. Normally I only ever see sealed copies, and you're talking like $130 upwards, which is just ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, as I said, when I picked this up, I assume it's mainly because the cartridge was bundled with the console, so I'm assuming that Nintendo didn't feel there was any need to really put a lot of box copies out there. It'd be quite interesting to find out how many copies are actually printed. But yeah, Super Mario World, one of the greatest platforming games ever made, without a doubt. You know, iconic music, iconic levels, amazing graphics. You got Yoshi. I mean, they just took it to the whole new level with this game. Excellent. Next up, Super Star Wars, another great platformer. Now, this is the thing about old school gaming, 8 and 16-bit, the platforming. I mean, that's one thing that's missing from today. You don't get enough platformers. Nintendo are starting to make up for it, thank God. But yeah, this is just genius. You know, I'm not a Star Wars fan by any means, but I love Star Wars games. They always seem to get it right with the Star Wars games, and this one is absolutely excellent. Just the look of it, the sound effects, the music. You know, it's just epic on every level. We get to level 4, it starts getting a bit tough and it becomes quite annoying, but it's a really good game. Next up is Super Empire Strikes Back. Again, fantastic game. All 3 games are excellent in the Star Wars series. It is a really tough one. I do believe that Empire Strikes Back is rock hard, and I'm not very good at it. It's harder than the first game. The first game I could actually play, but that one I can't get very far. Likewise, Return of the Jedi, equally brilliant, but equally difficult, and a real tough challenge. You know, I don't have a lot of patience, unfortunately, with some games, and I get very annoyed very quickly, but it is fun. Super Tennis. Now, this is one of the games that I've always thought was like a must-have Super Nintendo game. Gotta have it in the collection no matter what. Having played it, it doesn't really hold up. I think it's sort of like nostalgia, really. It was just like, oh, I remember that game, it was brilliant. And having played it recently, it's okay. It's not that great. But you know, it's nice to have it in the collection. This one is one of my favourite games. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. You know, I mean, for everybody of a certain age who grew up with the Turtles, you know, it's just absolutely brilliant. They were just so well designed. Whoever come up with the idea for the Turtles is really clever, and it's just really fun. I used to love watching the cartoon, love the films, and this game is just excellent. I mean, it's my favourite genre that's called beat 'em up, so it doesn't get better than that. I mean, you know, you got the Turtles beating the crap out of everybody, you know, taking down the Foot Clan, attacking Shredder. It's just brilliant. The bosses are superb. Music, graphics. I mean, it's Konami. It's pretty much, if you go back to the 16-bit era, and it's got Konami on the box, buy it, because they just get it right every single time. They are excellent. Next up, we've got the Addams Family, which is a platform game as well. I've got a lot of platformers. Really nice little game, this one. Really impressive little platformer. And you play a little mini Gomez, which is really cool. But yeah, excellent game. I've not played enough of it yet, but it's really good. I remember it from when it came out, and it was really good back then. I need to play it a lot more. Next up, we have the sequel, the Addams Family Pugsley Scavenger Hunt, which is a really tough game. I mean, really challenging. It looks stunning. The graphics are excellent on it, but it's a tough game. I had a real difficulty trying to play that one. Disney's The Jungle Book, another platform game with Mowgli. I've played a little bit of it. I've not had a proper real good go on it, and I need to do that. But so far I quite like it. It seems pretty damn good, and it's got that usual, 16-bit Disney games are always seen as being some of the best platform games because they whichever company made them always made an effort and got them right. I know I said that Aladdin was nowhere near as good as the Genesis version, but it's still a quality game. I mean, it's still, it's definitely not a bad game. Next up is a game that I think a lot of people absolutely adore. I personally have tried to play it and just don't understand what the hell's going on because I don't play RPGs. My good friend Tony Yippee has been trying to help me though, so that's a good thing, so thank you Tony. And it is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Now I picked this up last year, I saw it on eBay for a buy now price of £9, and even though I'm not an RPG fan, I don't play Zelda or any RPG for that matter, I just thought, well, for collection purposes I'm not passing that up for £9. I mean, it's now going for like £30 when I'm looking on eBay, so I mean it's got a little bit of creasing there, but for £9 I can't complain. I'd love to be able to get into this game and to really understand what you're supposed to do, but I just can't get the hang of it. I don't understand how you play RPGs. That's the problem I have. I seem to just walk around a lot and not do anything, but I'm sure it's a brilliant game once you get the hang of it. I know it's got an amazing reputation anyway. Next up, The Lost Vikings, which was given to me by my good friend Cyberlanky. Thank you very much, mate. Really cool little game. It's like a puzzle game. You have the 3 Vikings, and each Viking has their own particular ability, so that you have to work out how to get through the level using each of their abilities. I like that. It's a really cool game because you don't see a lot like that anymore. There was games like this, and there was a game called Pushover, which was like a domino game with a little ant. And I remember playing games like this back in the day, and I really enjoyed them. And it's a really fun game. It's a time-consuming game. You've got to really, take a lot of time out to just sit there and just play through it, and think about what you're doing. I like that. So thank you, Cyberlanky. Next up, The Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse, another Capcom platformer. The same as Aladdin really, it was more, style over substance. It's a really good game and it's well designed. But for me personally, if I was going to play a Mickey Mouse game, it would either be Mickey Mania on the SNES, or I'd just get a Mega Drive or Genesis and play Castle of Illusion because it's a far superior game, but it's still very good. And I've just noticed that in All Damage, that's not very good. Oh, that's crap, I might have to replace that at some point. Next up, The Peacekeepers, third in the trilogy of Rival Turf games. And my good friend Coaster Crazy 10 got this for me. This was another game like Mario World where I thought I was never going to own it because I couldn't find a box copy anywhere. And I saw this one on eBay in excellent condition. And unfortunately the seller wouldn't ship outside of the US. But my good friend Coaster Crazy 10 here on YouTube was kind enough to go and buy the game for me on eBay, and I sent him the money and he shipped it over to me, so I really, really appreciate you doing that, dude. And it's a cracking game, really nice. I like this a lot. Brawl Brothers is still my favourite of the trilogy. This is my second favourite, and Rival Turf will be my third. They are an acquired taste, as I say. A lot of people don't like the Rival Turf titles. I personally, there's just something about them that really speaks to me. Next up, Tiny Toons Bust Loose, another Konami game. As I say, Konami's like a seal of quality on this Super Nintendo and on any 16-bit system really. It's a really nice looking platformer, really cutesy and cool characters, and it's just a really, really fun game, and I'd definitely recommend that one. And the last game, guys, is WWF Royal Rumble. I aim to get all of the wrestling games because I love 2D wrestling games, and this is just a really, really fun game. I have issues with the characters that they chose because some of the characters, like Mr. Perfect and Razor Ramon, I don't care for. I would have liked to have seen like the Hulkster, Legions of Doom, Jake the Snake, Jimmy Superfly, that would have been good. But yeah, I mean, you've got Bret Hart, you've got The Undertaker, you've got my favourite character, Macho Man Randy Savage. So I can't really complain, but some of the others are just pointless. But the game is really fun. It looks great, plays great, and it's just the right laugh, and especially Royal Rumble mode. When you're trying to chuck them out of the ring, it's just great. I mean, it's pretty damn impressive as well when you've got like 6 to 8 characters in the ring at once, and they're quite large sprites, and it doesn't slow down or anything. I was quite impressed with that. So I'm looking forward to picking up the other WWF games at some point. So there you go, guys. That's my Super Nintendo collection thus far. As I say, maybe in 6 months' time or something, say around about June, and hopefully I'll have a few more games. I will do an updated video again, and I will show you all of the games that I've added to the collection. So thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed that, and I look forward to hearing your comments. So thanks for watching, guys. See you all again soon.